Oh, I wanted to bring this up before we'll begin today's podcast. What did you think about the big news this week of the New Day being gone from WWE?
Hey, look, I people can say what they want, and I understand this isn't me trying to like downplay or sugarcoat anything. At the end of the day, it is a business, but it's like you said, you do have to understand your value and your worth. And I feel like with everything the New Day has accomplished, especially because they're one of the most decorated tag teams ever, um, I think it is unfortunate that it had to be them. They basically kind of had to be like the sacrificial lambs in a way,
Mm.
in terms of like the pay cuts, which I get it from a business standpoint, but it's also like WWE is like having has record breaking revenue like every show. So it kind of doesn't really make sense to me. It's like why are you asking them to take pay cuts when you're making all this money?
It's
Um,
yeah,
but I mean, at the end of the day, it's you know props to the New Day. Thank you, New Day, for all they did, especially Kofi. 16 years in the company for Kofi. Um, actually, I think 18 actually. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what their next move is, whether it's they go to AEW or perhaps they go their separate ways. Because I know Xavier Woods made a name for himself in TNA. There are rumors, there are reports saying that WWE wants to bring back Xavier Woods on a deal so he can still do up, up, down, down.
mm. Look,
But it wouldn't let him wrestle.
yeah,
So
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that's the way it has to be now. Um, man, the company WWE is so different, vastly different from
but
even what it was 3 years ago.
yeah, but I also have to say this. What has the New Day done in the last year? And their heel turn was great, but afterwards was like terrible. And of course that's on the booking, but you got to look at it at that way too. It's like realistically, what has the New Day done over the past year?
Well, let me just say that, like, it's unfortunate it's the way it has to be now because this is the way TKO wants to run their business. This is so like conglomerate style in a way that like everything is so business-like now where it's totally unfavorable for the talent, unfavorable for the consumer, for the fans. It's unfavorable for the people that are putting in their hard work and sweat into the product. And it's only favorable for the company in itself, and it's only favorable for the people that own WWE, which is TKO.
Yeah,
Um,
and somebody was emphasizing. 'Cause I saw this, I think, on Twitter, that a lot of the releases are like older guys. So people are saying like perhaps this is TKO saying no, we're
well,
going younger.
no, I think this is in a way it all has to come down with money. TKO looks at these contracts and they're absolutely look at any company,
They're
any
they're
business. Hold on, any industry is going to want to size down into what like their profits are, right? And if they see these contracts that are bloated, they're going to want to try and get rid of them as soon as possible so they can have more profit in itself. And I totally think that this is man, like yeah, this is totally corporate greed in a way where it's so unfortunate to see. And you're taking people like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston that have been with the company for many, many years and that have again bled, sweat, tears. They have poured into this company, and it just seems like this like they don't matter anymore. All that matters is let's cut down on these contracts and let's ask them to restructure in a way that's favorable for the company, but it's not favorable for the talent. It's not favorable for the fans, and they're only looking out for their own on the business side, their own best interest.
Yeah. Another thing I was gonna say, like similar to that, it sounds like, again, I don't know how true this is. I'm just doing it based off like what I've seen, based off reports and rumors and stuff. It sounds like TKO is trying to restructure contracts to like kind of more align with like their TV appearances. Like if they're getting paid like a ton of money but aren't really on TV, then they want to restructure the contract to kind of accommodate for that, which I can understand, but it's also unfair that. wrestlers have to basically take pay cuts to keep their job. Because we heard that somebody took a 50% pay cut and agreed to it, and they haven't said who. They said, "Oh, it's a tippy top person."
I don't know about that. I don't know if any
And
tippy top person would take
there are
one.
rumors. People are saying, "Oh, LA Knight took the pay cut. Bailey took the pay cut." That's what people are speculating.
I'm not quite sure about that because I think Bailey's contract is coming due soon. Um, but altogether, like these guys should not have to be able to take pay cuts in order to stay with the company. They signed these contracts for what they were given. WWE should be able, if they're going to be able to keep these guys, right? If they're not releasing them, they should honor their contracts the way they are, right? Wait until their contracts are due, and then you can restructure a new contract the way you want it. But don't ask a talent, hey, look, you're making this amount of money in the middle of their contract to restructure. That's totally unfair because you're the
As
ones that have committed to paying that money.
Especially because the New Day literally just signed a new contract like last year, I think.
Right. It's one
They
thing
just
for
signed
W.
those contracts last year.
I mean, it's shitty enough that WWE every year gets rid of these talents, at post WrestleMania. It's shitty enough that these talents sign new contracts and they're released, right? But then uh, instead of being released, they're going to be asked to take a pay cut. Like that's totally way unfair for anybody in any position. You like if you're working and you agree to a certain amount a salary, and if the employer comes to you and like, hey Ryan, we actually need you to take less money, you're going to tell them to fuck off. That's
Yeah,
totally fair for you
yeah,
to say.
yeah. No, and I see it from that standpoint because again, it's like one of those things. It's like I'm seeing it from like their perspective, but again, I'm also seeing it from like the talent's perspective because it's like I'm thinking it's like, what if I was in their shoes? What would I do in their position?
Right, right.
Um, so.
But just
So yeah, it's unfortunate, and unfortunately, like I know this is probably be like, oh well, yeah, obviously it's a business. It is, and unfortunately, things like this happen in businesses. Like it's not just TKO. Believe me, there are other businesses that do this too. It's not just TKO.